Hello my friends and welcome to episode 68, the final mission. And this deployment phase is going to be very important because we need to decide, we need to think about what traits we're going to have in the next section of the grand campaign. And so therefore, if we want to buy any, say, artillery or aircraft for a potential denied artillery or denied aircraft, that's something we need to think about. I'll probably carry on running denied artillery because, I mean, I have so much artillery. I don't foresee a problem in keeping artillery supplied. And it doesn't really change much over the course of the war. But then again, it might be worthwhile to just get some German artillery and then I have it forever and then switch back to denied artillery later. I don't know, there are things that I can do. In terms of new units, there's basically nothing. Obviously there's lots of captured things, but there's basically nothing new. So we can use our upgrades to work on upgrading our scout cars. So this guy I put field repairs on to make extra copies. That may no longer be necessary. Because I think the standard German recon car is just superior. Is it superior to the UNL 35? I would say that it is, yeah. Slightly worse against infantry, but a hell of a lot better against hard targets. So we only get 3 upgrades, of course. We only get 3 upgrades, of course, so we do need to think about that a little bit as well. But I don't think we have anything here that's worth upgrading or worth changing in any way. Pretty much the T-26 is superior. I think the T-26 is going to be superior in the next part of the Grand Campaign as well, but I have a lot of them, and varying degrees of upgradedness. Right, we need to redo our heroes, that much is for certain. I'm wondering if the old infantry hose tank it's time to retire that as well. It's got rapid fire, so it's actually really lethal against infantry. And it also enjoys a 1 in close defense, which is twice as good, as it were, than not having any close defense. Alright, let's move all of this to reserve. Okay, alright. So in my reserve I have a great number of vehicles, scout cars, everything. no point in deploying these scout cars because they can't gain any experience. So these ones could, but they need upgrading. That's my stockpile of anti-aircraft guns. Right, okay. So one thing that I need to, one thing that I want to do is I want to deploy a 21 centimeter, but in order to get the most out of it, oh, this is technically 203, not 21, but anyway, effectively the same weapon. In order to get the most out of this artillery, what I need to do is, hang on, just checking my standard artillery. These are my infinitely replaceable 10s. Now I've got that 12 there. Yeah, I'll just use a fresh one. So what I want to do is I want to use this to manufacture more. So in order to do that, we are going to put field repairs on it, of course, and reduced slots. I don't know who these are assigned to. Must be to a tank or something. Now what I want to do is I want to do the same thing as I did with the recon car in the last mission, which is to overstrength it to 15 without actually having any units there. So I need to get rid of my prestige to do that trick. So the easiest way to do that is to just buy a ton of anti-aircraft guns. And then just move them to reserve. How much prestige does that leave me with? $260, that leaves me with 130. 120, that'll do. Okay, so now I can overstrength this to max without actually increasing it above 10. So that will allow me to manufacture 5 more. And that's how I'm gonna ensure that I have an infinite supply of these. It may not necessarily matter. What I mean to say is that basically I may not run with denied artillery next time. And just use that as an opportunity to secure some German artillery instead of the convoluted kind of setup that I have now. And then I can run denied artillery in the next part of the Grand Campaign and just do that forever as long as I don't lose any. Because I have a lot of artillery here. And if I could upgrade it to, you know, infinitely reinforceable German variants, that would be very helpful. Otherwise I'm kind of forcing myself to play Power 4 forever. A lot of you guys don't want to see more Power 4 because it's pretty OP. Now what's weird is I don't see where these other heroes are deployed to. Apparently, legendary aggressive counterattack fast learner are deployed to something somewhere. And I don't actually see where or to what. Oh. Okay. Alright, I found them. Okay, let's get to work. So let's shuffle in standard setup. Standard setup, 5 tanks. I have nothing to upgrade, so let's take these and let's take the opportunity to upgrade them to standard. We'll take 3 recon cars. Put double fast learner on this one, double EXP on that one. Just need to make sure that the final upgrade is the last thing that I do, because that will stop me from doing any upgrades. Interestingly, this particular scout car, the BA6, is actually it's a little bit slower, but it's actually more powerful against tanks. That particular scout car is not necessarily a downgrade. It does have a little bit more capability. But anyway, we'll decide if we're upgrading that as our last thing that we do. Okay, so artillery-wise, of course we're going to need our 15 centimeters. And a pair of flat guns. Almost be tempted to bring the little one as well. It's only 1 slot. We've actually been given some extra slots to play with, so... Okay, and this anti-aircraft gun we will supply with lethal. And you might as well hold on to my legendary guy for me. Same as before. Lethal attack is really good on anti-aircraft guns if you don't have anti-aircraft veteran. Because you can't capture aircraft, you can only slaughter them, so... This really enables your anti-aircraft guns to get work done. Okay, so that's a pretty standard setup. Minus the Air Force. The question is, what Air Force do we want to bring? So these are prototypes. And I don't have any, I don't have any spares of them. But I did it this way so that they would be there, so that in the next part of the grand campaign they will no longer be prototypes. I'm pretty sure they will no longer be prototypes. So then I can take them back up to 12 strength. But I think I will be playing with 3 upgrades per mission probably for the rest of the Grand Campaign, so it makes sense to get those upgrades in when you can get them in. Right, let's bring in our dive bomber. We can bring in a couple of strats because there's absolutely no reason not to. This fighter is actually almost maxed out. I think that's probably the one that I was using for Galland. Right, speaking of Galland. So, here's the thing. This is a... Aggressive counterattack is a really awful hero. Like, really bad. But he can be useful on a fighter. And the reason why is because fighter attack, or like fighter values are quite low. They're low throughout the whole game. Aircraft just seem to have low values. So you can see that this fighter has only got like 8 air attack. And I think later on, you know, even towards the end of the game, they're probably only packing about 12 or 13. So +3 actually makes a big difference to a fighter. And with Galland, of course, he improves the initiative by 2, which is huge for a fighter. It means that he is going to be able to do counterattack damage, like really excessive counterattack damage to the enemy, if he gets attacked. And to be honest, you have no way of defending fighters. If the enemy wants to send a ton of fighters at your fighter and try and shoot it down, there's really nothing you can do about it. I mean, there's no way to deny the enemy from attacking a fighter. There isn't. Fighters don't support each other, anti-aircraft guns don't support them. So, you know, I'm never going to argue that this is a good hero, because it's not. But in this particular situation, that's not bad. Right. I don't think there's anything else to do here. But what we will do... I'm obviously going to need my fighters. And it is certainly wise to bring some tacticals. Actually, is it wise to bring... I've brought this tactical, actually, but... to be fair, that one doesn't really need much experience, so let's bring another one. Okay. 2 strat, 2 tactical, 3 fighters, 3 AA guns, 3 artillery, 3 recons, and 5 tanks. It's a pretty standard sub. We have 2 core slots remaining. Do you know what's interesting? This fighter is not... It's not as good, but it is actually pretty good for a fighter that only costs 2 core slots. But anyway, that's not why we're here. I'm going to overstrength Galland. He can lead the aggression against any enemy aircraft for me. Because he's got +2 air attack as well. Which, once again, aircraft stats are very low, so that's actually a huge amount of extra power. Okay, so this mess of a map, I spawn... Do you know what? I'm not going to bring the hose tank. Although, it could be useful. There certainly is a lot of enemy infantry around. But to be fair, I don't think I want to bring my infantry into this town at all. I think what I want to do... is I actually want to withdraw this army here. I think I actually want to pull it back temporarily. While these guys are destroying each other. clear all the area behind me first. I don't know, man, I can deploy pretty much everywhere around this area. And I've even got an airport here. Yeah, whatever, we'll bring the hose tank. What the hell? It's at risk if we encounter any T-26s, but I actually don't see any. Oh, there's a BA... Oh wait, that's the BA-6, a really nasty scout car. Right, we have some auxiliary slots. First things first. Actually, let's cancel those because I think the Italians have got a superior scout plane. Yeah, it's got a little bit more range. And let's add which one's better? The German one is better. Okay, that'll do. A little bit of extra fighter support. I'm gonna have to defend that airport, aren't I? Okay, I need to find out what is here. I need to find out what's behind my front line first. This bottom part of the map is a complete mystery, but there are enemy units here, so there's obviously stuff there. So I need... Why have I got this scout plane in my core? Oh wait, I'm looking at the reserve. Okay, so I need one scout plane here. And this scout plane is going to race down here and show me what's going on here. Then we're going to have one scout plane... Okay, there is a scout plane there already, so we'll put one here and one here. Then we'll back them up. That's a real airport. That is a dirt airstrip. That's also a real airport, but it has a great deal of allied units there. Okay, so let's get a recon car down here as well. Let's get a recon car here. Let's put fast deployment on this bad boy. Oh, I forgot to buy him a transport as well. Oh no. I need to make sure I've got no prestige. Well, no, I mean I need to make sure I have exactly 100 prestige to put the transport on that without undoing the trick. We'll worry about that in a minute. Let's go with... I think hit and run actually works really well on this tank. And I do kind of remember it as being my guy that ignores zone of control. Cheap replacements. Stick it on this. I never know what to do with cheap replacements. It's not really a great hero. You can either put it on something really expensive that you may have to reinforce, or you can put it on something that you're going to reinforce a lot, like infantry, which I haven't got any. Okay, let's spice up this tactical entrenchment killer and ignorance entrenchment. Use that for bunker busting infantry. No retaliation is pretty useful on the old hose tank for attacking infantry without being hit back for it. Okay, that's the heroes sorted out. Now let's quickly I've got to fix this problem of my own making here. Let's temporarily put my artillery away. I need to leave myself with 100. $780. Oh, doing the math on this is a nightmare. I wish I'd remembered to equip it with a bloody transport when I bought it. Okay, that's it. That'll do. Okay, so that leaves me with 120. Okay, then put it back up. All right. That was stupid of me, but anyway. No problemo. This has been a really complicated procedure for this final mission. Okay, and that's kind of it. Now the question is, do I want to buy anything? Do I want to potentially, for example, choose denied Air Force next time and just use the Air Force I have? That is something that I could do and get away with. I don't know how many aircraft upgrades are going to be in the next part of the Grand Campaign, but I could buy some 109s and put them to one side. What's interesting to me is that I've never known a mission to require more than, you know, when I did the standard campaign, I had like 3 fighters, 3 tacticals, and 2 strats, 3 artillery. Like, I don't think you get enough core slots, generally speaking, to actually deploy much more. Alright, well let's leave ourselves with an out. So, what I'll do is I'll temporarily put this artillery away. And I will buy a couple of spare BFs. and tuck them away into my storage. And I will buy a couple of spare JUs. And tuck them away into my storage. I think I got plenty of strat bombers. I can't imagine a world in which I need more than 4 strat bombers and that I lose so many that it becomes problematic. Alright, finally we're here. What a complicated little bit of deployment this was, but it's one of those things. Right, they have an airfield here, but I doubt the aerial presence in the rear is going to be that severe, so let's get my AA gun here. Get an AA gun here. Let's add the little AA gun here so I can deploy the heavy artillery here. Let's get my tanks out here. Right, let's put the hose tank back here. I don't know how much enemy air presence is down here, so I'm going to deploy the bulk of my forces on the front line and as quickly as possible just scout the rear area. If there's a whole massive army here, I may just resort to using my air force to bombing it into paste. I have a lot of infantry here which are under my control, so as I said before, what I potentially want to do is actually withdraw these units back, create a front line here. So we've got 36 turns, so I'm thinking to withdraw these forces back as much as I can, or let's create a front line around here somewhere backed up by artillery and just weather the storm while these guys kill each other. I have another scout plane there. I don't know which base he belongs to. Let's put this AA gun here so it actually protects that and that. Same with this one. Okay, and I guess my main airport should be this one. Not only is there a great deal of units there, but it's kind of in the center of the map. I don't know, we'll put Galland, 1 tactical, 1 strat up here, and then we'll put 2 fighters down here. 1 tactical, 1 strat. Okay, so the plan is create a front line here, use my spy planes to see what is around here, if anything. If there's a great deal of force here, we're going to bring the whole force of my army to bear on it, try and clean it away as quickly as possible and secure up to this area. And once I've established an actual straight line, or roughly straight line of attack, we'll then just push block by block this way, using the artillery and the infantry in tandem to just clean this out block by block. With 36 turns, we got all the time in the world. Okay, and that's it. It was a really long deployment, but this is a really long mission, and I also wanted to do the artillery trick. I think that this is worth it. So I'll be able to manufacture an extra 5 of these, provided it doesn't get destroyed, which it shouldn't do. Plus it means that I never have to pay to replace it, which it's a very expensive piece of kit to pay to repair. So, okay, all right. Well, for those of you who enjoyed deployment phases, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time.